Most creators think the algorithm hates them, but the real reason your reels flatline, whether it's at 200 views or even 20k views, comes down to this one thing: your hooks just suck. So in this video, I'll give you a simple 2-step hook test you can use to instantly create hooks that blow up your account. And to make it practical, I'll show you how I fixed the hooks of 3 creators from thousands of people who sent me in their profiles and content. So before we actually dive into the first one, let me quickly explain this whole test so you know actually what to look out for. Every good hook basically just has 2 parts. The first one is instant clarity, which means the viewer must immediately know this is for me, right? Without that, no hook is gonna work. And the second one is what I call the curiosity gap, and basically builds on the first part, because once they know it's relevant for them, you have to make them think basically, but how? Or basically make them have a question in their mind so they actually stay the whole length of the video. If you don't have both, people are gonna swipe in the first 3 seconds and you're gone. Now, how do I know it's 3 seconds? Instagram literally tracks your skip rate on the 3-second watch through. So this is what we're gonna optimize today. Number 1 right here is Kevin, and he's an interior designer, and he basically says he has trouble with engagement. I guess with getting clients as well, obviously, but more on that in a second. Transforming homes into bold, one-of-a-kind sanctuaries. Too long, but we're not even talking about that today. Now, the video I want to fix here is honestly one of the best topics you can choose, especially if you're in the interior designer niche. So let's take a look at the video first. I'm gonna have to mute this whole thing for copyright reasons. But again, so the concept here is gold. Basically, he's an interior designer and he's like, yeah, how I can transform a room that just has white walls, right? So everyone with a rental apartment, for example, has this pain, if you will. Basically, my home looks boring with white walls. I can't paint my walls. I don't want to paint my walls. But this hook, if we just look right here at the first frame that we have, just completely undersells and basically destroys everything that is about to come. Again, in this video, we're not talking about the second part of the video, which also is honestly is pretty bad because it's basically just a showcase reel and things like that look like an ad and people are not interested and they're just not going to work, right? Well, barely works in the whole social media world right now. But obviously, people don't even get to that part because the hook makes people leave faster than Instagram kills your reach when you say link in the bio. Ha ha ha. That joke right here. But yeah, so going after our formula that we have, part 1 being instant clarity, right? Let's be honest. Just taking a look at this right here. Do people immediately know this right there is for them? And who is it actually that is for them? Basically, people who want to design their apartment. And I can just tell you for sure, not. Because yeah, the first frame only has his face and some text that is kind of white. And I understand he kind of wants to be meta with the white wall, but people just don't get the clarity, instant clarity part, what we just said. So it kind of feels like it's an insider question, or maybe even a question that a client would ask him, right? And you want to avoid that at all costs, right? Whenever you create content, always assume it's for strangers and actually create it for strangers and not for your fans, and especially not for your super fans who know about insider lingo and stuff like this. Stuff like this actually supposed to be in your stories, right? In case you're asking. So the clarity part here is honestly 0 out of 10 because somebody who doesn't know who Kevin has no idea what this whole thing is about and they don't have time, so they're gonna swipe away. Part 2 of this whole formula, the curiosity gap, to the untrained eye, it kind of feels like it is good and it kind of opens some curiosity loop. And I actually see this a lot with my clients who are like, yeah, technically he's asking a question. Do you ever work with just white walls, right? So technically this is supposed to be a question, curiosity gap. But the thing here is nobody really wants to know the answer to that because again, they don't have instant clarity and because they don't care. Nobody cares about the answer, right? And especially because yes, this is basically a yes or no question. Do you ever work with just white walls? So people understand, well, yes or no, right? And a yes or no question without a promise or potential payoff, or even worse than, you know, having no question at all in there, to be honest. With that being said, let's go ahead and fix this whole thing. So for this 2-step test is what we're gonna have to do here is say exactly who it's for and basically tease the outcome. That's it, right? And your hook only has this one job, making people stay right after the first 3 seconds. Then there's a secondary hook and some other script things. We're gonna talk about this in some other videos. But yeah, in this case, it's actually pretty easy because we might have had a very similar creator in my mentorship at some point who's been crushing it. At one point, he told me that he can't even keep up with client requests anymore because his content just pulls in so many interior design inquiries here. Now, I know people love to get practical advice on how to turn your home basically into a hotel, right? It's also my dream. So as you can see in this video, make your home look expensive, right? Perform pretty well. And you can instantly see this whole thing passes this 2-step test, right? It's clear who it's for instantly what's happening here because make your home look expensive. So it's about interior design also with the visual aspect of it. You know, it's not distracting. It doesn't matter if the Danny's in there or not. Doesn't matter. Now it probably does because people recognize him, but the focus is here. And the curiosity in that case being, well, what do I need to make my home look expensive? I need to keep watching. How can I actually do that? There's also a secondary hook right here, the doorway effect. So just this alone opens up another question in my mind. What is the doorway effect? And push it to stem a little further to stay longer than 3, 5, 10 seconds, right? With that being said, let's take all of this information and redo Kevin's reel. In this case, I will actually pretend that I'm Kevin. And you know, I know people with apartments are dying to make their places expensive, look expensive. So for example, what I would say is something like, here's how to make any rental look expensive without painting your walls or something like that. And as the text, actually, let's just do this. Let me just record something really quickly and then we'll put it together in the edit. And I'll show you my thought process so you can actually replicate that for yourself. So here's basically what I did. First of all, I went ahead and found a picture from Kevin's website, which is, by the way, a whole nother topic in terms of getting him clients and stuff like this. We're not talking about this here at all in this channel. I have a second channel I actually just started for the whole business side of things. Let's not even talk about this. But this is actually a picture I found from this video where he made this home look beautiful with just white walls. So what I did was I threw this into ChatGPT actually and said, well, remove everything, remove all of the furniture, and look at that. It's actually pretty awesome. Right? So I removed that and now I'm like, okay, how can I play around with this, right? We can make this whole thing look like some sort of transformation in the video. I also did some transformational steps here as well. So let me just show you what I kind of did, or let's actually do it together because I didn't do it yet. What I do is always whenever I edit, whether it's on CapCut, this one is Final Cut, or wherever it is, I put in my safe zone template because you don't want things overlapping, especially with these things right here, and especially not with these things. So you really only have this small part to put your captions in there, your text in there, and stuff like this. So let me just show you what I said right here. You don't need to paint your white walls if you want your apartment to look expensive. These 3 tricks will make your apartment look like a hotel. You don't need to paint your walls if you want to make your apartment look expensive. And basically what I did here is layer in, as you can see, right? Another layer, another layer. So basically delaying the gratification and making people aware that there's some things building right there, basically playing with their brain. And then I say, you don't need to, what did I say? You don't need to paint your white walls if you want your apartment to look expensive. So that alone, honestly, without a text would already work. You don't need to paint without a text hook. Now let's still create a text hook because I want you to kind of see my thought process about this whole thing. So what we're going to do is put a text hook there and we're just going to say, make your rental. Let's just say rental because this kind of triggers specific people. Let's just take Helvetica. And we obviously want to make it, I mean, it's okay. We can try a drop shadow just to blur a little more. There you go. Make your rental and then look expensive. There you go. Look expensive. And obviously that would be very sort of boring. So let's just put a different style of, there you go. Oh, look expensive. Beautiful. So here I just have the feeling. And again, if you remember the other video that we did, it's a lot about just trying out things and kind of developing a feel for whether it looks good or not. As you can see here with the background, this kind of looks not bad. It's a little bit too big though. So we're just going to put this here. What about the drop shadow? I'm not the biggest fan, honestly. So let's make it a little like this, just a little bit, as you can see right here, just so it's a little, right? Just look at this and look at this. And then maybe just put another statement in there without painting your walls. Go back to Helvetica. There you go. Look at this, right? Let's just look at this again. You don't need to paint your white walls if you want your apartment to look expensive. I honestly love it. These 3 tricks will... Now we're just going to take this away. You don't need to paint your white walls if you want your apartment to look expensive. Already looks cool. But then the second thing that I would think here is, well, maybe it looks better if there's like a different, because we have a whole picture. Maybe honestly like this might look even better. So let's just try it out right here. Let me just copy and paste this over. Just for different, honestly, as you can see, you don't need to paint your white walls if you want your apartment to look expensive. Well, I like the one before better. So that's what I mean here. And you can totally go ahead and create this. Or for example, here, instead of the green one, we can try a different shade of green. Nope. But we can try some yellow. Man, this looks beautiful. Something like this, right? And boom, we got ourselves basically a winner right here. So to kind of break this down and summarize, clarity. Anyone who's renting, right, make your rental look expensive without painting your walls. Within a split second, the subconscious can read that and knows what's up, in addition to seeing this sort of empty rental, right? The curiosity part is, well, how can I make it look expensive? I have a rental as well. I can't change a lot. What should I do? And yeah, the whole appeal is there because rentals are pretty common, obviously, and expensive is something that we all want to achieve. Beautiful. We got ourselves a winner right here. And just if we look at the difference between this and this, you know, insane, right? I hope you get it now. Right, so the second one is Vanessa, and the interesting thing here is that her hook itself is basically not that bad, right? But there's some crucial elements that just need to be fixed. Again, not just to get her way more views and followers, but to actually attract the right kinds of followers that will eventually book her things. Because she said she has a link tree, let's open this up, helping you build confidence through fitness, wellness, and content. Yep, oh man. Well, okay, work with me. Okay, well, there's a whole nother thing here. Again, we'll break this down, how she can make, this is instantly a 5 to 10, probably more, 20K a month business right there with her view metrics. If she gets them up just a little more, this is instantly a 20K business. If she gets the positioning right and all the funnels right and stuff like this. Again, we're talking about this on my brand new second channel, heyDominik 2, where I'll show you basically how to actually make money with a social media account, you know, and how I make money and stuff like this, right? So with that being said, let's take a look at her video first.
How many of you are used to hearing these phrases? Don't waste food, or there are starving kids in other countries when you were growing up? Because if your answer is yes, what I'm about to say might shift something in you. Welcome to lesson 5. Overeating might not be your fault.
Okay, so cool. If you remember, the hook itself is not that bad. It's kind of, everything looks like cinematic and kind of nicely edited and sort of flows together pretty fine. But the hook, it's relatable, obviously, but relatability alone is not a hook. That's what a lot of people forget, right? If you remember, we just need these two elements, clarity and curiosity. Clarity and curiosity. Because if we look at her actual first frame right here, her face, again, a white wall, what a coincidence, but you know, it could be about anything, right? We see Vanessa, if people know her and recognize her, people might already know it's about some of her topics, but other people, aka cold people, couldn't care less, right? Similar to the one before. Like I said, the hook probably works. Basically, what does she say?
How many of you are used to hearing these phrases?
How many of you are used to hearing these phrases? Probably works if she already has a huge brand and people instantly recognize her face, but nobody knows about the context. Nobody cares. Now, I'm pretty sure she has adapted and emulated the style off of some big creator. And we've done some research, and there's some big creators who make very similar content and very similar style that blew up. But the thing is, these things mostly work because people recognize them. And it's usually a bad idea to copy big creators, right? Especially their hooks, because the rules are just different for them. So with that being said, let's fix this whole thing, right? So first of all, I think honestly, her spoken hook is not that bad. It's okay, but at least we can try to use it, you know, add the whole clarity element with a different, either with a different first frame, or, you know, what I do in this case, either film a whole new hook, right? So for example, for her, this whole thing is about overeating, or at least about eating. I usually have her film, sit down, have her film with a bowl of cereal or something to show that she's eating, right? Whether she speaks directly to the camera or she makes a voiceover. Okay, so I downloaded her video right here, and we can see some shots. Ooh, this is actually a pretty good shot. So let's try this one. Okay, this one is pretty good, but there's also one where she's eating. So let's just take a look at, first, let's just try it out with this and just add this different first frame to her.
How many of you are used to hearing these phrases?
Okay, let's just try this other one. And again, as you can see, especially with hooks, I basically force my clients to create at least 3 hooks per reel, mostly to train their sort of perception and train their brain in terms of what actually works, you know, and how can I force myself to think outside the box and create a different sort of hit.
How many of you are used to hearing these phrases? Don't waste food, or there are starving kids in other countries when you were growing up?
Honestly, it's already interesting.
How many of you are used to hearing?
Honestly, it's not a bad thing. So let me try something out here. The thing that I want to do here is obviously create a curiosity gap, right? And that usually works best with a text hook, right? So for example, I would add something like overeating might not be your fault. That's actually a pretty good phrase to put right there at the beginning to set the context and the clarity, right? So let's just try this right here. Overeating might not be your fault. There you go. So I put this in there, and obviously this is just a quick way of doing things. It still doesn't look the part, but like this, it looks too cold for me, right? It sounds like this.
How many of you are used to hearing?
Kind of cool, but with this,
How many of you?
looks kind of cheapish, looks kind of, the life is missing. So actually, let's just remove this right here, and let's try something out with her face or something like this. Overeating might not be your fault. I mean, the colors and stuff like this, but
How many of you are used to hearing these phrases? Don't waste food, or there are starving.
okay. Honestly, a lot better.
How many of you are used to hearing these phrases? Don't waste food, or there are starving kids in other countries when you were growing up. Because if your answer is yes, what I'm about to say might shift something in you. Welcome to.
Okay, so honestly, way better. We can instantly get the whole clarity thing, right? It's a relatable story. The clarity gets there. Overeating might not be your fault. I see this instantly. I see her eat, and then it opens the loop with her first line. How many of you have heard this thing, right? Instantly, way better. And honestly, like this, it will work. So just recreate this video and do similar things that I just did. Another small thing that I might just cut out, and also with the trial reels, test it out. Remove this lesson thing, right? Sometimes it works. Sometimes it kind of disrupts from the flow, but let's not even get into that. So to recap, because that's a huge one that I see across my clients. Relatability is not a hook, right? Especially for cold audiences. If they don't instantly know that the video is about overeating in this case, or they don't feel like they have a reason to keep watching, they'll swipe away and you're done. And the fix here obviously was pretty simple. Setting the context fast with text. And basically then create the curiosity gap with her spoken line, right? That way her content actually lines up with her niche of building confidence and healthy habits. Small changes here with actual big impact. Right, so in this last one right here, the opposite problem actually happens. Too much is cramped into the first frame. And the text and the audio and the visuals, they're all competing. And that makes people leave faster than Adam Mosseri changes his mind about hashtags. Ha ha ha, another dad joke right here. But let's take a look first.
So create length between your waist and your ribs. That's automatically going to bring your chest up, start to bring your shoulders back.
Okay, so this video from Heidi, by the way, who's doing a similar thing than the one before, just differently, just goes to show that there's a million different ways to make it, basically. But basically, she's helping people heal their nervous system and be more confident the way I understood it, basically, right? So again, a whole can of worms in terms of business things. Easily 5 to 10K a month profile with the right tweaks, just right there. And the ceiling obviously way higher. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to take a look at that profile as well on my second channel in terms of monetization and what I would exactly do to map out the whole business process to pull in money fast, right? On my second channel, by the way, I have a video breaking down how I pull in 20, 30, sometimes 50, 60K just from my sort of low level Instagram account right now. That's sometimes not really in use. Not even talk about the whole YouTube side of things. But yeah, right. So again, the idea is pretty solid, touches a specific problem. It's a very interesting topic and it basically has all the right ingredients. Posture, confidence, looking taller. And if I'm like, oh, I want to look taller, right? But the delivery right here, opposite of what it was before, is just overloaded. The first frame is basically crammed with text. Let's just go back to the real first frame. We have text right here and we have text right here. And then we sort of have a very busy background right there, right? The audio also is messy, especially when she starts talking. You can hear some overlap with the music, right?
Create length between.
Right? There's somebody speaking in the background, sort of talking over her. And generally, the music is very distracting.
Back. Now bring your shoulders back.
Not only is it too loud, but it just takes away from the experience of the video, right? So if I'm a viewer, again, a new viewer who's never seen her or heard about her before, I don't even know where I should look, right? I get confused and I just swipe again because I want to see monkey. The fix here is pretty simple. One clear promise, one curiosity gap, done. That is it. So in this case, instantly look taller and feel more confident. It's free and fast. Probably it's free and fast. I would kill this, but the line itself is not that bad. So I would take this, put it there, film her myself if I were her, slouching a little bit, and then kind of visually showing everything instantly within the first 2-3 seconds, like with the first example where we showed the apartment reveal, and then have her say something different. For example, something like, most people look 2 inches shorter because of this posture mistake. Instantly, it's solved, I guess, right? And then what I would do is I'd make another one and obviously test it with trial reels to say, just kind of tackle it from the other angle. Say, most people look 2 inches taller with this posture trick, right? Just to see, like, what does my audience actually respond to, react to the most? And then another one, I would do something like, most people look 2 inches taller and way more confidence with this posture trick. And that way we instantly have clarity about what is going on, right? We open the curiosity gap. And like I said, to make this even clearer, you could just changing out the text and switching out things here would make things work, but to always up the ante because we always want to be the best creator. I would totally refilm this reel. Like I said, film myself slouching and then kind of go up. I'm not going to show this right now because I hope you get the idea. So once she's actually going to make these changes, people are going to say, and her teaching is actually going to land and it's going to start to warm her potential buyers up, right? And the whole video makes a lot more sense. So reminder again about this whole thing, clarity and curiosity. That's what makes hooks work. Now, if your goal is more than just views, hopefully, and if you actually want to turn content into $10, $20, $50,000 a month of revenue without having to have like 1 million followers, even 100,000 followers, hooks obviously are just the start. The real game is in the funnels, your offers, and your whole ecosystem basically that sits behind the content. So in this video on my second channel that's pretty new here, in case you didn't know, I'll take these profiles or some of the profiles that we talked about before, and I'll fix the rest, the whole monetization, so that they're set up to pull in 10, 20, 30K months with their traffic that they already have. Again, new channel, I need your help, so make sure to follow.